All right, baby. Welcome to the Gridiron. If you like this video, maybe share it. That'd be absolutely freaking awesome. If you are subscribed to my channel, thank you. Now, please go down below, hit the subscribe button, hit that bell icon. That way, next time I go live or if I put a video out, you'll be notified. It's free of charge, right? Free of charge. What do you got to lose, right? But if you are subscribed to my channel, thank you. Description box below, the very top link. If you want to help support my channel out, it would mean so much to me. Very top link in the description box takes you to my membership page. I got 3 different membership levels. Each one has their own little perks to them. So once again, if you want to support my channel out, it would mean so much to me. And I thank you in advance. Thank you. And also, just a little ways down in the description box, there's a link takes you to my Facebook group. It's called the New York Giants of Gridiron. We have over 9,100 members in the group. It's doing simply marvelous, might I add. Basically, if I'm alive and breathing and if I have internet access, I'm putting stuff in that group darn near 365. As I said, there's over 9,100 members in the group. It's growing daily. Please join it. It's called the New York Giants of Gridiron. It's my Facebook group. Please join it. You won't be dissatisfied. I promise. All right. Well, well, I mean, there was some good news. There's always, no matter what the score is, there's always some good news, out of every game, right? One of the things is that, I want to read over here is, the rookies didn't do too bad. Right? It helped, excuse me, if, like with Malik, obviously, if we had an offense that was able to move the ball, keep the ball, complete some passes, yada, yada, yada. Let's not forget, when OBJ, and I'm not trying to compare it to said they're the same or Malik should be better or whatever, but, let's not forget, OBJ had some dude by the name of Eli Manning throwing the ball. So, a little bit of a difference sometimes, right? But we're going to go over something with Malik here as well, too. But so I mean, one game in the books, right? But at least the top 3, you had to be the top 3, the top 4. You had to be somewhat impressed with them. At least happy. I mean, I'm not saying obviously, I'm certainly not saying any of them ran away with the rookie of the year. I mean, that's it. But you want to see. Some return, obviously, with your rookies, but they all played, right? Which is obviously a good thing, right? They're not on the sideline drinking Kool-Aid or not like that. They're in the action, right? And obviously, the more snaps you get, just absolutely invaluable, right? So this is from New York Giants, SI.com. Who wrote this here? Patty Trainer. If you're looking for something encouraging, and it wasn't much, from an otherwise awful game, look no further than the performances by the New York Giants rookie class. Bob Folger of Inside Football provides the breakdown on this promising crop of rookies. Malik Nabers, right? Let's start off at the top. Holding in 5 of his 7 targets, it's obvious that Nabers needs to get more targets. He, did have a drop. So, I mean, he does seem to have a little bit of a case of the drops. He's now, obviously that's something you can work on. Not sure if it's, I don't know, the expectations, in New York City, but, obviously that's something you can certainly work on. That's for sure. But, for every drop he has, he sometimes he goes out there and he just pulls in one that's, you're like, wow, that was pretty good. So he has a drop and then you're like, and then the next catch is like, man, I'm glad we drafted that. Yeah. You know what I mean? So now if we can just, I don't know. Yeah. Well, I'm going to talk about, some of the other guys as we go along here, but It was only his first NFL game, so we're not going to harp on it. But the focus in the coming weeks needs to be getting this kid the ball. Yep. He's got size, speed, finesse, hands. He's got a big-time game. After an early drop, Nabers averaged 13.1 on those 5 catches, including 2 separate gains of 25 yards. Tyler Newman led the team in tackles, right? And I liked it because the dude played the whole freaking game. All right, Tyler, there you go. There's the field, brother. We'll see you after the game. All right, go get him, Tiger. Led the team in tackles, came crashing down in the box, made some tackles in the box, So, it's, and he's only going to get better, right? Every snap, every time he covers a receiver, anything. Same thing in him and Phillips, right? Only going to make him better. Getting a start, Newman, who led the team with 7 tackles, did not disappoint, playing a controlled and at times a rambunctious game. His run support is going to be something that this defense is going to hang its hat on. He did it so well. Now, the one thing is, you're going to start, thinking, we might start having maybe some more, 3 safeties, right? You got Pinnock, you have Belton, and you have Newman. Right, maybe Newman, can have him crashing down into the box, maybe for some run support or something. Right. We suspected a 3 safety look might become the staple of this defense in the near future, flashing Newman near the line of scrimmage and perhaps a quasi linebacker role. We'd love to see him attacking the line of scrimmage as he's a bit of a beast. And, the one thing, he's a bit of a beast, but also let's not forget about Phillips. Now, I'm not saying Phillips is a beast, but Phillips don't shy away from contact either, right? Though he didn't get the start in the slot, Phillips made a nice hard face-up tackle in space from a boundary position to force the Giants' first turnover of the year. He came up hard, broke down, and finished his tackle square, just like the way you draw it up on the blackboard. That was a nice, solid, absolutely nice, solid tackle. The rookie made another sharp tackle in the red zone, playing trail technique on a short crosser to force a 4th down, and also contained a running play with perfect positioning and a low, hard finish. Again, like you draw it up in the textbook. Phillips finished with a total of 4 tackles in limited snaps. Very good production. Let's hope he sees the field more in the coming weeks. Now, the thing is that, but then you had Flott in the slot. You had Adoree out wide, so it's like, the thing is, it's like you got Pinnock, Belton, and Newman. You got 3 safeties. Right. Let's not forget about some dude by the name of Isaiah Simmons, too. Right. But then you bring in Adoree Jackson, you got Flott, you got Phillips, you got some guy by the name of Banks, who you drafted number 1. So you got it's nice to be able to say this. It's like, we got almost too many guys. It's nice because, you don't want, obviously in a week, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever down the road, it might be, well, Belton's out with this, Phillips out with that, Simmons out with this, Adoree Jackson. So right now we're overloaded, right, with players, once again, which is a good thing. Not complaining at all. All right. But it's almost kind of like, where are we putting all these guys? Once again, it's a nice problem to have. But, I certainly want to see, I see Phillips in there a little bit more. That's for sure. Because this is Flott's 3rd season. And, he has to show that he can stay healthy and he can produce. Right? Which we're not even sure. Is he in the slot? We're trying him outside. Is he going to stay healthy? What's going on there? So it's not like Daniel Jones, but in a way it is like Daniel. It's in one respect far different than Daniel Jones, but it's like with Daniel Jones, is he our quarterback? Is he not the is he the quarterback of the future? Are we going to finish out his 4-year contract? Are we cutting him after? What's going on? You know what I mean? So, but I mean, the third season, that's what Shane said. Usually the third season is like, this is what you're going to get from him. All right. So he is, can he stay healthy? The guy's not very big. Right. So it would be nice, but we'll have to wait and see. I said, so we talked about Drew Phillips, though he didn't get the start in the slot. Phillips made a nice hard face-up tackle, right? So that we do know. He didn't get the start, but let's hope he sees more of the field in the coming weeks. Then, of course, we got Theo Johnson. Now, obviously, Theo, I mean, it's like he just like leapfrogged over Bellinger. It's like, that Bellinger was the starter? I don't know. I don't know. It's like the first year, some of these, like the draft class, it's like kind of getting just a straight up, Shane's first draft class is getting a little biatch slapped, right? McKeithen, you're gone, right? Bellinger, right? Yeah, so. But Theo, besides getting the start, Johnson barely came off the field, mostly because of his blocking. He's so big and strong that he holds up to every physical confrontation with apparent ease. You like to see that. Johnson moves with ease. He never shies away from contact, and he's always looking for somebody to hit. He plays with easy power. His receiving game needs lots of work. In that aspect, he's very raw. His route running won't scare anyone till he learns to dig down his stride when making cuts. Right now, he's too much of a long strider, and that's a problem. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you're a long, if you're a long, unless you got like whatever, 4.4 speed or something like that, and you can just run away from guys, that's one thing. But with long strides or something, his biggest asset obviously is his size and strength, but maybe his size, maybe being he can out physical a defender or maybe outreach him out, defend for a ball. But yeah, he's got quite a bit to learn as far as what he's saying his route running. Let's see, he needs to read defenses, know where to settle down in the holes in the zone, and when to run. Run him up the seam, and that's fine and dandy. His lone catch today came on a short seam for 18 yards. He's got the speed to get up that seam and the size to snatch the high throw and the frame to take a hit. That's all good. Where he needs to develop is in adding finesse to his receiving game right now. He also dropped his first NFL target. The coaches see the talent, and are rightfully eager to get him on the field so his game can develop. I think the Giants had maybe 5 drops or so. Obviously, which did not help at all either. Back to his blocking. It wasn't all good as he made a couple of poor decisions in line when you have to make instantaneous decisions in the blink of an eye. He needs lots of repetitions. There's going to be a learning curve for this kid, but the reward could be exciting. Absolutely. Yeah. It's kind of like with him, but it's also, with all the young secondary we got, it's, you're going to get some exciting stuff. It's like, oh, wow, did you see maybe so-and-so's developing, or did you see this or whatever? But you're going to have the good and the bad with the secondary. You're going to have some nice stuff. And it's like, man, we're young and exciting and all that, but then you're going to get some stuff to learn. I didn't see it, and I don't remember, but I was listening to Patty Trainer. Patty Trainer, I think it was her today. Yeah, I think it was. It was either him or Big Blue Kickoff Live. It was one of the two. But Theo Johnson had him in block him. And apparently there was like a particular play that, he was in block him. And he didn't have anybody, looking around, didn't have anybody to block. So he ran over and he helped. I don't know who he helped. I don't know what side of the line of scrimmage he was on. If he was on Illuminor's side or Andrew Thomas's side, that I don't know. But apparently, he didn't have anybody to block, or so you saw like I guess the closest defender, and he ran over and he helped the offensive lineman. Well, he went, he hit him, and it sent the dude flying, sent him on the ground. So yeah, so I mean the guys, obviously, he's got his stuff to learn, right, without question. But I mean, once again, all these snaps are invaluable, absolutely invaluable. All right, we got Tyrone Tracy. He only had 2 yards, I think it was. The rookie had an early drop out of the backfield, another drop, and held on to another throw for 5 yards. He also got his feet wet in the league with 2 runs that went for grand total 2 yards. Several of his blocking efforts left a little bit to be desired. Then you got Muasau getting a surprise start at inside linebacker because Dable said that McFadden was going to be on like a pitch count. So if he was going to be in there, regardless, he was only going to play so many snaps. So we'll have to wait and see. Hopefully, he keeps getting more and more rest. Hopefully, somewhere along the line, McFadden will be okay, be ready to play. So we'll have to wait and see. But with Muasau in there, let's see, he was picked on a couple of times in coverage, including in a late reaction to a flat toss that got the Vikings out from beneath the shadow of their own end zone. Yeah, this play went for 9 much too easy yards. A little while later, the Vikings were finishing off a 99-yard drive. Yeah, the touchdown drive. Yeah, but I mean, as I'm saying, is the play he got burned on. Well, burned, but it was for 9 yards. I mean, that's stuff you're gonna, that's live and learn, right? We got him at the 1 yard line. They walked 99 yards down the field and scored a touchdown. I mean, but things are going to happen. I mean, I thought it was 8 yards, but he said in his article it was 9 yards, whatever it was, right? But, that was an easy pitch and catch, right? But that stuff, rookie, right? Stuff you got to live with. Young, rookie, right? Things you have to live with. That's there. Vikings tried picking on him as he rarely came off the field, but he held up most of the day. There were some poor reads, but for the most part, he played it smart and tough, occasionally flashing into the backfield, which he did on several occasions. He certainly showed promise. He also alert to come down with the second half interception off a deflected ball. It was a high deflection that hovered in the air as if nobody wanted to get it. So Muasau went up and got it. His 6 total tackles were second on the team. So you figure, right? You got Newman, number 1 with tackles. Muasau, number 2 with tackles. Number 6. I don't know where the Bobby Okereke was. I think he had like 2 tackles. The guy's averaging like 300 tackles a game last year. I mean, I don't know where the hell he was at. I mean, 2 tackles, I think it was. Wow. Let's see. He moved well and looked thicker and stronger than he is listed. He's not very big, 225. He filled holes. He played off blocks, and he got to the sidelines well. It looks like the Giants found themselves a player here. I mean, if worse comes to worse, I mean, we're not saying, so it's like, oh, man, we got ourselves an all-pro here. I mean, we could be talking a Hall of Fame guy. But, do we find somebody who can be, worst comes to worst, a backup and play on special teams? Right? You got to have those guys. You can't pay everybody in the team $37 million a year. You can't do it. You got to have those guys, right? The guys who can come in, right? Smart, tough, and dependable, right? Who can fill a role, inside linebacker, also play on special teams. You got to have those guys, right? And then we talk about Elijah Chapman getting some early game run with the first team. Chapman showed a couple of upfield pushes on the interior pass rush. He got his name on the stat sheet by making the tackle on a quarterback sneak. So I mean, nothing unbelievably impressive, but all of them got in there. All of them got some experience. It was absolutely huge. But talking about Malik Nabers, right? He was nominated for the Pepsi Zero Sugar Rookie of the Week. I'm not even sure. I didn't even know that was an award. The Pepsi Zero Sugar Rookie of the Week. Nabers was nominated for the Pepsi Zero Sugar Rookie of the Week for his performance in the Giants season opener. I mean, it was nothing super spectacular. The 21-year-old, though, caught 5 passes for 66 yards. I feel like I did pretty well for my first game, the rookie wideout said. The tempo slowed down since I first got out there, but still a lot of stuff to learn. Still a lot of stuff to learn from and fix. Thought he played well, quarterback Daniel Jones added. Made a couple of big plays and some nice catches. I've got to find a way to get him the ball some more. Absolutely. But 2 Giant players won the Rookie of the Week award last year. Jalen Hyatt in Week 12 and Tommy Chicken Cutlet Parmesan won it 2 times in Weeks 11 and 14. The other players nominated for the Pepsi Zero Sugar. I was going to say sugar cookie. The Pepsi Zero Sugar Rookie of the Week. Say that 10 times real fast. Included Jaden Daniels, Brian Thomas Jr., Xavier Worthy, Brock Bowers, and Jackson, the return specialist, Jaquan Jackson from the Titans. Fans vote for one of 6 players on NFL.com/rookies. So put your vote in. Maybe maybe Malik Nabers will win the award. Got a long way to go, right? But one of these games we can get on track and get him the ball. I don't see why he can't be the Pepsi Sugar Rookie Cookie of the Week. But if he can keep things up, with 17 games, if we can find ways to get him the ball, if he can stay healthy and all that stuff and everything, I'm sure he'll be in the running for the offensive rookie of the year. All right, then we got, this one here, good old LT. Because he was on the side. Carl Banks was talking because Carl Banks, obviously does the broadcast for the Giants with Bob Papa. But Carl Banks, he follows the football. Right? Well, Lawrence Taylor doesn't really follow football. That's what Carl Banks says. Lawrence Taylor has his life, whatever he's doing out there is what it is. But, he doesn't really follow much football, right? But what he said, I think he said it was at halftime, or Carl Banks said at halftime this Sunday was, even Lawrence Taylor was just kind of, I guess, just shaking his head at the performance he was seeing on the field from the New York Giants. Lawrence Taylor's sad message to Carl Banks as they watched the Giants in horror. Let's see here. Banks revealed alongside co-host Bob Papa on their Believe in Blue or Believe in Giants podcast that Taylor was ready to throw some pads on. Yeah, he was not thrilled by what he was seeing out there. Carl Banks says, I can tell you when we were lining up to be introduced as the top 100 players, a guy who never really comments on games because he doesn't watch many of them. Tough to comment if you don't watch anything, right? But, so he doesn't watch it. It was Lawrence Taylor. He looked at me and said, this is a true story, Carl Banks was saying, folks. So he said, if you want to know what we, the 100 greatest Giants, were thinking at halftime, Banks said. Lawrence looked at me at halftime and said, Carl, I could pick 22 of us right now and go out and play better than these guys. We'd be in this game. The youngest guy in that line was probably 50 years old. Lawrence Taylor looked at me and said, I can get 22 of us right now and go out there right now and whoop these guys' ass. There was just a bunch of other stuff, but I mean, it just goes to show you. I mean, Carl Banks wasn't sugarcoating nothing, and when he was talking with Bob Papa to Believe in Blue, I mean, I was like, they gotta play better. I mean, it's like, where was that the fight that they had against the Lions? I mean, obviously you don't want to go out there in the game and have fights, but I mean, where was that fighting spirit against the Lions? Right? It's just say it. Just say it. I really feel bad for the people that go to the games. I mean, it's amazing how much money you have to spend. Or you don't have to, but I mean, if you want seats down low or good seats, I mean, it's amazing how much cost for a ticket to watch absolute garbage on the field. You got to pay what, $87 for a fucking beer? It's like, are you kidding me? I could buy 3 weeks worth of groceries for what I got to buy a beer for it at a football game. Are you kidding me? But anyway, I mean, that's why I like staying home, watching the game on TV. I can go to the bathroom. I can record the game. I can rewatch it. I can go on the the 22. We go to see each play from 274,000 different angles. All that. So I can walk away. I can come back, go to the bathroom. I can go grab a sandwich, something, come back, sit down, right? Not to fight in traffic, none of that stuff. I mean, I really feel bad for people like that. Just absolute garbage. So even Lawrence Taylor, he was not happy. Now the Giants, they tweaked their practice squad just a bit outside. Giants continue to churn their practice squad. All right, the New York Giants dropped offensive tackle Marcellus Johnson from their practice squad and replaced him with interior offensive lineman Cade Mays. Nothing super spectacular here. Nothing super spectacular here. He's 6'6", 325 pounds, was originally a 6th-round pick by the Panthers in the 2022 draft. Out of Tennessee, he appeared in 11 games and 2 starts as a rookie. Last season, Mays appeared in 16 games with 5 starts for the Panthers. He was with Carolina this summer, but was part of their final roster cuts to get down to the 53-man limit. But I mean, it's just, let's see here. Did he play? Let's see. 2024. Let's see here. Preseason. He played in 1 game this preseason. He played week 1, I guess, with Carolina against New England as a center. He had 28 snaps. Okay. This, once again, Pro Football Focus. That's all I'm going by. I'm never going to say, I sat here for 3.5 years. I broke down every play, every snap, every step. I looked at every step. The forward, backward. I analyzed each play for 7 years. And I ain't never going to say that. Ain't got the time for that. Ain't going to do that. Will not do that. Other people do it. Thank you. God bless them. Glad they do it, but I'm not going to do that. I just go to PFF. And PFF said his week 1 performance against New England. Now, if he's a backup, he was going up against other backups. All right. He was in it for 28 snaps. His pass blocking was a 20.6. His run blocking was a 48.6. He had 2 penalties called on him. 1 was accepted. 28 snaps, he had 2 penalties called on him. So basically 1 out of every 14 plays. So the Giants had 70 plays here. So if Mays was our starting center and he had one penalty every 14 snaps, he would have had 5 penalties called on him. Right? 17, 34, 68. That means for this season, he'd have 85 penalties called on him, which would be an NFL record. So I don't know what these guys, I have no idea. No, I mean, No idea. They let one offensive lineman go to bring in, once again. He's a center, though. Maybe that has something. I don't know. Once again. Let's see. His overall grade, his offensive grade, PFF gave him for the preseason game was 33.7. And this is what we have on our practice squad. Let's see here. 2023, he played 28 snaps for Carolina, graded out of 54.7 in preseason. In 2022, in preseason, he was at 118 snaps preseason, graded out of 52. Right? Regular season, let's see, he in 2023 and 2022, he was in regular season. All right, last season, let's see, 434 snaps last season, but it was that right guard and left tackle. So he played 3 different positions last year. So you got to give the guy some slack there, right? And he's also playing center. So the guy could probably pretty much play almost anywhere. So maybe his versatility. I mean, the guy's 6'6", 325 pounds, huge dude. He's 25 years old. Won't be 26 till next year. So he's young, he's big, and he's versatile. You know, maybe he hasn't got injured yet. Maybe that, right? So, right. But last season for Carolina, 434 snaps, he graded out of 58.3 overall. His pass block was a 43. His run blocking was a 71.2, according to PFF. The year before that, in 2022, in the regular season, he didn't play much at all. He played 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He played 7 games, grand total of 51 snaps, though. I mean, yeah. His offensive grade was a 62.6. Right. Let me see. Did he play on special teams at all? It's not special teams. Special teams? Well, last season, 47 snaps. I'm sorry, last season, 49 snaps. 2022, he played in 47 snaps. So very, very little special teams, right? But he can. So maybe his versatility, right? He played a bunch of he played 3 different positions. He also plays center, so you can put him on any side of the line. And he can play center. He's big, he's young, but how good is he going to be? Once again, it's somebody to bring in and just don't get overly excited about. But I mean, it's just the practice squad. It's like one guy comes in, next day he brings somebody else in, cuts somebody else comes in, cuts. It's just you need a scorecard to keep in the practice squad. It's like, but the guys that this happens to, they're so used to it. I'm on the practice squad. Okay, cool. I got, they bring a suitcase with them, and they just open the suit. They lay it on the bed, right? Oh, suitcase. I'm just laying on the bed, and they don't unpack, right? Because the very next day might be closing the suitcase back up, back on the plane, flying back outside. You don't know, but I mean that's the life of a guy in a practice squad. It is what it is. But so the Giants are, Giants are still tweaking their roster. But Gabe Mays is nothing to get overly excited about. All right, then we got new notes and stats. Giants start 5 rookies. All 6 draft picks play. So they start 5 rookies. Right? Let's see. This is the 55th season since the 1970 merger, and it's the first time the Giants started 5 rookies in the season opener and started 2 rookies on both offense and defense in the opener. Right? Muasau's inclusion in the lineup marked the 2nd straight year the Giants' 6th-round draft choice started this first game. Last year was cornerback Trey Hawkins, but you know how that spiraled out of control. I mean, he looked like a house of fire. He's like, man, I mean, in preseason, it was preseason. Chapman was the first undrafted rookie defensive player to start for the Giants in the season opener since the merger. Wow. He was the first undrafted free agent to start since fullback Shane Smith in 2017. All 6 of the Giants' 2024 draft choices played. Nabers scored 5 passes, right? Let's see. Newman led the Giants with 7 tackles. Cornerback Drew Phillips had 4 tackles, 3 solo. Let's see here. Well, 4 tackles. And then the other ad I read said he had 6 tackles. So Johnson picked up, only had 1 catch, right? Tyrone Tracy, didn't do that much. Musow intercepted a pass, right? Chapman was credited with 1 solo tackle, but I think they said it was on a quarterback sneak. So Bryce Ford Wheaton, who missed the 2023 season with the torn ACL, also made his NFL debut on special teams. Good to see him out there. Let's see. The Giants' defense forced a turnover in Minnesota's third play of the game when the Vikings, C.J. Ham caught a pass, hit by Phillips. The ball was recovered by a Karake. It was the first fumble recovery with the Giants and first since November 6, 2022, when he played for Indianapolis at New England. That was a Karake. This is the Giants' third takeaway of an opponent's first possession since the middle of 2023. Defense had a takeaway on an opponent's initial offensive series of the season for the first time since September 12th, 1999. Jesse Armstead sacked Buccaneer quarterback Trent Dilfer at Tampa Bay and forced a fumble. And Christian Peter returned 38 yards for a touchdown. Graham Gano scored the Giants' only points on field goals. Let's see. He kicked a 50-yard field goal, the three-pointer of 50. It was his 24th field goal of 50 yards or more in 5 seasons with the Giants, extending his franchise record. Joe Danello is second on the list with 9. Dexter Lawrence had the Giants' only sack. Cornerback Dory Jackson signed Monday, had 2 solo tackles, and was flagged for questionable, very, very questionable. I mean, it is what it is. But, I mean, to me, he tried to turn around. He was trying to turn it around. I mean, that could have gone either way. Could have gone either way. There was contact there. But, Dory did try to turn around. Let's see here. In his debut, Singletary led the Giants with 37 rushing yards on 10 carries. Jones was at 15 yards. He was second on the team with 15 yards. I mean, I mean, the thing is that, you can't, the problem, not 3,000 problems during the game, but obviously one of them is, you got to get the running game going. You have to get the running game going. They were talking about this on Big Blue Kickoff Live. I think last year, they were talking about this. Flores, obviously, with the Vikings last year, they blitzed more than anybody. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think he said they had cover 0 or cover 1 a ton of times last season, I think. Well, this game, they hardly played any of that. They had a lot of too high safeties, the Vikings did, which meant what they were trying to do was, obviously, let's stay back, right? Keep everything in front of us. We're not going to have Hyde fly down the sideline and beat us. We're not going to have Slayton or whatever like that. We're going to keep stuff in front of us. So a lot of too high safeties, right? But what also John Schmuck was saying is that so when they have 2 safeties back, they're kind of inviting you to run the football, right? And we just couldn't get it going. We just could not, just could not get it going. It just also kind of shows you maybe in a small way what the value maybe of Saquon Barkley back there, right? Yes. But then, of course, the other problem too is when you're down by 812 points in the third and fourth quarters, and the game's out of reach or blah, 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 whatever, you're not establishing the run. The other team knows what you're going to do. See, at that point in time, when you're down 28-6, you could run the ball and maybe pick up some yards because they're as soon as the ball gets snapped, all the defenders are running down the field, right, to try to sack Daniel Jones. And, so you probably could get some yardage, but you'd just be chewing up the clock. You're not getting enough yardage. And basically you'd be just, you're throwing in the towel. We're not going to try to win the game. We're just going to run the, But the thing is that, you want to have that lead. It's the Giants they just don't want to seem to do that, right? You want to have that lead where you can dictate what you're going to do to the defense. What the defense dictate to you. So it's 28-6. You're not going to be a rocket scientist to kind of figure out what the Giants are going to do. I mean, if they try to run the ball, okay, we'll give you 7 yards. Okay, clock's going to keep running. We're up 28-6. We're up 22 points. So you still have to score 3 touchdowns with a 2-2-point conversion just to tie us. Right? So we'll keep the clock running. All right, well, you get six yards on a run or whatever, right? We'll tackle you inbounds, right? Keep the clock running. That's what you want to do. Okay. But the thing is, if you have the lead, then you can start dictating. Right? We got to run, we got to pass, because we don't need to move the ball down the field, right? When you like you have to when you're down 28-6. So let's see here. Wan'Dale Robinson had a team high 6 receptions, 44 yards. His 14-yard run on his only rushing attempt was the Giants' longest in the game. Vikings capped a 99-yard drive in the second quarter with a 3-yard Daniel pass to Justin Jefferson. Let's see. Minnesota gained 104 yards in the series. Vikings need 11 plays to travel the length of the field, along with a 44-yard Jefferson reception. Once again, in a young secondary, things are going to happen. But Jefferson caught 4 passes all game long. 4? 4. I think it was for 59 yards. So out of that 44-yard reception, he caught 3 passes for 15 yards. I'll take that, but of course it wasn't good enough. It was the first 99-yard possession by a Giants opponent since October 28, 2002, when the Eagles had one in Philadelphia. That series ended with a 40-yard touchdown run by quarterback Donovan McNabb. 40-yard touchdown run by the quarterback. Andrew Van Ginkel scored the game's final points when he intercepted the pass. Blah, 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 blah. 2 Giants opponents scored on interception returns in 2023, both at MetLife Stadium. Deron Bland and Devin Witherspoon. Giants fell to 51, 44, and 5 on opening day. 51, 46, and 3 in home openers, and 17, 17 in season opening home games, including 4 and 11 in MetLife Stadium. Yeah, they're just trash. Absolute trash at MetLife Stadium. Let me tell you what. They lost 6 consecutive season opening home games. Last winning in 2010 versus Carolina. In the first regular season game played in MetLife Stadium. So you got to go back to 2010. Was the only time at MetLife Stadium the Giants won a home opening week 1 game at home, right? 2010, 15 seasons ago. Let's see here. Wide receiver return specialist Gunnar Olszewski aggravated his groin injury during warm-ups and was unable to play. Eric Gray, who was lined up deep with Tracy, returned 1 kickoff for 22 yards. Darius Slayton had 1 punt return for 0 yards. Carter Coughlin left the game with a pectoral injury. Nick McLeod was removed with a knee injury. This was the kickoff to the 100th season of Giants football. Lawrence Taylor, voted the greatest player in Giants history, accompanied the Giants' 5 captains to midfield for the coin toss. The Giants' inactive players were quarterback Tommy Chicken Cutlet Parmesan, Trey Hawkins, Anthony Johnson, Boogie Basham, and Jake Kubas. Also, the Giants only had, I think, 51 guys on their roster. I mean, usually they got 53. You dress 46, so usually there's 7 guys that don't get dressed. But I mean, here, they only had 51 guys. So, anyway, good old Kayvon Thibodeaux. It's what it's New York, and I get it. You make your bed and you got to sleep in it. If you want to ignore, you know, um, uh, you know, a reporter's question, that's up to you. I mean, it's what it is. You make your own bed and you sleep in it. There's different ways to do it. Right? There's one thing, I mean, obviously, had the Giants won, things would have been happy, hunky dory and all, but we got embarrassed. Possibly, maybe that's why, it's some little sour grapes there from Kayvon Thibodeaux. But I mean, I said there's a few ways of going at it. One of it is, you man up, right? You give it, a somewhat of a decent answer, where you man up and say, yeah, I know, I just got to do better. You know what I'm saying? You can give a little more extensive answer than that. But, if you want to make your bed and sleep in it, if you want to just totally ignore the guy's question, I think he said, I'm going to read this article. He said next question or something like that. That's, it's not, I mean, you gotta, helps if you man up. I mean, you're playing with the big boys, right? I'm sure you're going to want that big boy contract, right? Right? We need to see some stats. I mean, I don't think he ran out of tackle. I mean, he didn't play the whole game, but he didn't have a tackle. Yeah. Did you have a sack? Nope. Nothing. Kayvon Thibodeaux ignores reporter's question. New York's young edge defender didn't help matters following the team's dismal performance Sunday afternoon against the Vikings. Before the season began, the Giants believed their improved pass rush could carry them to victory on most game days, especially with third-year edge rusher Kayvon Thibodeaux leading the way. Things didn't get off to a good start for either party. The Giants fell 28-6 in an uncompetitive contest to the Vikings at home. And Thibodeaux himself didn't even record a tackle in the loss. I mean, the guy's, whatever his paycheck, I mean, he's making probably about $500,000 a game, right? I could go out there. Give me $500,000. I won't make a tackle, right? Huh? Give me $400,000. I'll save you a little bit of money, and I won't make a tackle. And after the game's over with, I'll answer questions, right? Following the loss, ESPN's Jordan Bernat asked, that a lot is on you and the pass rush up front. That's what this team is supposed to be built on. Let's see. Making matters worse was the fact that the former Oregon standout wasn't too keen on answering valid questions after the game. So Bernat was asking him that. So Bernat said, how much? And then Thibodeaux quickly interrupted, saying to the other reporters, anybody else got questions? Now, that's just slap in the face. Now, Thibodeaux has every reason to be frustrated after a loss similar to the one Giants sustained on Sunday. The fact that he didn't want to answer a question based on his own performance, though, shows a lack of maturity and a clear problem within the locker room. Ooh. Well, not sure if it's a problem in the locker room, but maybe. If Big Blue top players are above talking about their own struggles, how is the coaching staff going to be able to succeed going forward? Thibodeaux is supposed to be one of the young leaders on the roster. What does it say? What does it say? He refuses a very fair question from a reporter. Things aren't all right for the Giants early in 2024, and it seems the results in week one were just the tip of the iceberg. Well, I'll tell you, if it's just the tip of the iceberg, well, I'll tell you what, man, yeah. Because, I said from week 3 to 8. Now, obviously, to be fair, Cleveland did not look like gangbusters against the Cowboys, right? The Cowboys, didn't have a ton of yardage, so it's not like the Cowboys walked up and down the field 812 times. They had 97, 80-yard drives, and they culminated all in touchdown. No, that wasn't the case. Cowboys had like 200 and something yards of offense, But I mean, to be also be fair, I mean, Dallas, especially with their front, with the pressure and all that they got. I mean, Watson did not look good at all. So, I mean, to be fair, Cleveland did not really look super duper spectacular, right? But from weeks 3 to 8, the Giants got some tough games coming up. Tough games. So, I mean, you can imagine if we wind up losing to the Commanders here and we start off 0-2. I mean, holy cow, Batman. Week 3, we got the Browns. Week 4, we got the Cowboys. And then we got some other tough games, obviously, after that. So we got some very tough games coming up. But you can imagine we start off 0-2 because the same thing with the Commanders. They started off 0-1. They looked horrible. They went down to Tampa. They looked horrible. They got their rear ends handed to them. I mean, Baker Mayfield looked like Joe Montana out there. Let me tell you what, he was looking good. So this is a huge game for the Commanders. They don't want to start 0-2, right? So it's going to be a battle of 0-1s, two teams colliding. Neither team wants to start off 0-2. But I mean, you can imagine, right, if the Giants start off 0-2. Right? Still a long season. Doesn't mean the Giants can't turn it around or can't win some football games or whatever. But I'll tell you what, you want the chatter in the start. You go out there and lose. I mean, if you lose, whatever, 24-23, you tip your cap to the Commanders. Great game, guys. We'll see you. We'll see you in MetLife Stadium. I forgot when they got to play them again. Good job. Congratulations. But, man, you lose like whatever, 24-10 or something, 27-11 or something. I mean, it's like, ooh, boy, that chattering's going to go on. And it's only going to get worse. Now, finally, just a couple things here, some head scratchers here, right? Some of the snap counts. One that we were talking about this a little bit earlier was with Bellinger. It's like, I thought he was a starter. He's not. I mean, he's like got third on the depth chart. I mean, you got Manhurts, basically, who's just a blocker, and it was Theo. And you had Manhurts, then you had Bellinger. So Bellinger went from like a rookie darling a couple of years ago to like, oh, this guy. I mean, he's not saying he's Mark Bavaro or he's a Kittle or nothing like that. But I'm saying, oh, this guy, okay. I mean, Bellinger, all right. We'll have him for years to come. If he's not the starter, he'll be a good, capable backup. But I mean, it's like all of a sudden I was like, what, third on it? I mean, well, I don't know what happens when Cager comes back. Is Bellinger going to be on the 53? I mean, if Theo Johnson got the most tight end snaps, and then you got Manhurts, right? What if Cager comes back? Is Cager going to bump Bellinger around? I mean, what the hell happened to him? Shocking. But let's see here. So we got some snap counts here. They're talking about here. Who is this? Athlon Sports. Anthony Licardi. I'm an idiot. I can't pronounce names, so I do apologize. It goes without saying that in such a rout, meaning the Giants lost to the Vikings, quarterback Daniel Jones did not play well, and the ground game couldn't get anything going. Clearly, the defense didn't do much to stop the Vikings quarterback Sam Darnold or running back Aaron Jones either. But what stood out far below expectations was the job of the New York's coaching staff, who had months to prepare for a middling Minnesota team. I mean, hey, they look good. Get that right. Hey, man, tip your cap to them. Congratulations. You guys were prepared. We sucked. You kicked their butts. Congratulations. You deserve every bit of that freaking victory. Congratulations. But, I mean, we're not talking, I'll tell you what, the Minnesota team, if they don't win this Super Bowl this year, I'll be shocked. I mean, we're not saying that. Well, we're not saying that. I mean, it was like a few years ago when the Broncos came in and just kicked the living snot ball. I mean, it was 27-13, I think we lost, but we scored a touchdown with like 5 seconds to go in the game. So it was 27-6. They just came in, they kicked the living crap out of us. That was the Joe Judge era, right? The final year of the Joe Judge experiment, right? I mean, once again, same thing. The Broncos, congratulations. You came in prepared. You kicked their butts. You won by a huge margin. You deserve it. Well done, Broncos. Congratulations. But, 2021, we weren't like, man, I'll tell you what, these Broncos, they're knocking on the Super Bowl door in 2021. Let me tell you, no. Same thing with the Vikings. I mean, they're a good team. They got some good parts. I mean, quarterback is not one of them. Okay, I mean, they're not the purple people here. They're not the steel curtain. I mean, they're not the greatest. I mean, it's not the 85 Bears out there. I mean, ain't Joe Montana or Tom Brady out there flinging passes around. I mean, I got Sam Darnold. I think it's, what is it, 17 different team he's on? I mean, my goodness. Tight end Theo Johnson, 61 snaps versus Daniel Bellinger, 16. This isn't to say that Daniel is wrong in giving his rookie fourth-round pick playing, or Dable, I'm sorry, giving his fourth-round pick playing time, but Bellinger is a serviceable last year and remained the starter throughout much of camp. Getting away from his versatility seemed questionable, and while it didn't have an overt impact on Sunday's loss, playing the third most snaps among the tight ends could foreshadow trouble for the veteran. Tight end Chris Manhertz had 20 snaps, would see more playing time primarily obviously as a blocker. You're not putting Chris Manhertz. I'll tell you what, we're going 5 wide. Let's get Manhertz in there. Hey, best catching tight end. No, you're not saying that. Manhertz is, it's like one of those things. It's like when you see Manhertz going in the game and say, oh, yeah, he's going to be in the block. Yeah, yep. Hyatt. I mean, who in the, 15 snaps. Apparently he was not very happy because I was Kim Jones, I think said something like that. Said that like he got dressed very quickly and he left the locker room rather early. I mean, usually he's hanging around. He's very respectful. I mean, he doesn't say nothing bad or like that, but usually he hangs around. If you want to ask him questions or something like that, usually you get something from him, whatever like that. But apparently he dressed quickly and he was gone. So apparently he was not very happy. I don't blame him. I mean, he puts all his work in, this, that, and the other thing, and they put him in there for 15 snaps, and it's like, wow. Giants had 70 offensive plays. Malik Nabers played every one of them. Starting receiver Darius Slayton had 50. Wando Robinson played 47. Sunday was very much a reminder that Hyatt is boundary depth and a role player in his offense rather than a significant contributor. Yes, his speed is tantalizing and can lead to big plays, but after an ineffective rookie campaign, he hasn't made much progress toward cutting into Slayton snaps. Well, he's going to have to cut into Slayton snaps next year because I don't think Slayton's going to be around next year. Given his one-dimensional skill set, expecting him to replace Slayton was lofty, especially early on. He'll get additional chances in week 2 against a weak Commanders secondary, but expectations must be tempered about his standing in the offense. The quarterback Drew Phillips. I mean, he like the first series, he's in there making a tackle, causing a fumble, and he had a grand total of 16 snaps. 2 of New York's defensive players stood out on Sunday, defensive tackle Dexter Lawrence and slot corner Andrew Phillips. The problem? Phillips was barely on the field. He made his impact immediate, forcing a fumble. In a handful of coverage snaps, he looked the part too. And then Cordell Flott played 37 snaps in his place. Despite struggling inside last season at working on the boundary throughout camp, it is not overly apparent why Flott, who essentially lost his second cornerback job, had to see the field unless New York was so committed to stopping the run that it left a promising playmaker on the bench for a little more muscle against an 11 personnel. Phillips looked ready for a full-time role and played well throughout the summer for a team in desperate need of young talent, providing themselves as contributors. His lack of playing time was confusing at best. But the thing was, I don't understand. I mean, apparently why Flott, who essentially lost his job, had to see the field unless New York was so committed to stopping the run. I don't understand it. The Giants were so committed to stopping the run that they put Flott in there. I'm lost on that one there. I mean, what they're trying to explain in this article here. They're so committed to stopping and run. We gotta get Flott in there. Pull Phillips out. He made a tackle. He caused the fumble. We don't want that. Let's get Flott in there. He weighs like 103 pounds. Let's get Flott in there. I mean, I don't understand that. I don't understand that. Hopefully, we'll see some more Phillips. They have their plans. They have the game plans going in. Why Simmons didn't see any snaps. I mean, some of these guys are going to start getting a little. And I'll tell you what, boy, you start losing some games and this, that, and the other thing, and you got guys like Hyatt on the sideline, ain't getting no snaps. You got you signed Simmons, brought him back, and you got him sitting on the sideline drinking Kool-Aid while you're getting out there getting smoked on the field. I mean, it's like so. I don't know. Lots of questions. Hopefully we can turn around. And a couple of nice things is one, they're getting out of Dodge. They're going down to Washington where they have, every year's a new year. But they have had some success in Washington. The Giants fans travel well, so there will be a nice contingency of Giant fans in Washington, right? Rooting on the Giants. You said the Giants play well, and it's any given Sunday, right? Washington looked absolutely horrible last week against Tampa Bay. That does not mean that they can't look like gangbusters this week against the Giants. The Giants look like absolute trash against the Vikings last week. Right? Tip your cap to the Vikings. Good job, Vikings. You kicked their butt. That does not mean the Giants, I don't want to say look like gangbusters, but that does not mean the Giants can't come in against Washington and win this game. Every week's a different week. Every week, sometimes the team's up, sometimes they're down, blah, 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 blah. You got a bad call here, you get a good call there, bad bounce here, a good bounce there, Every week is different, right? So just because the Giants got killed there does not mean they're going to get killed here. And hey, with a little bit of luck, they'll come out 1-1. And, they want to salvage this season, they better come out 1-1 because, they got, I don't want to say murderer's row coming up from weeks 3 to 8. They got some real tough games coming up. And they start off 0-2. They went 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you got the next 6 games. They start off 0-2, those next 6 games. I mean, I could be lucky to win 2 out of those next 6 if they're lucky. They start off 0-2. They'll be maybe 2-6 halfway through the season. Man, oh man, oh man. All right, guys, it's been 1 hour and 2 minutes. Whoever spent any time listening to me live, thank you. Means the world to me. Thank you so much. But if anybody's going to spend any time watching the replay of this, once again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. Means the world to me. As always, you guys stay safe out there and go Giants. Woo! Oh, yeah.